Okay, so if a man and a woman engage in in a platonic friendship, at first there's either an ounce of attraction towards that person. In my opinion, there's an ounce of attraction towards that person initially to gauge interest and even acknowledge their existence. But then furthermore, either if the woman puts them in the friend zone or the guy puts the girl in the friend zone, more time the primary, the only reason they remain platonic is in the wishes and hopes that the man will then someday get the chance to be able to, you know, hit her up or find, whenever there's a fault in the cracks where she's in a vulnerable moment, that they'll be able to be the soldier, like this.
So like every rom-com going around,
yeah, basically
on Netflix.
Like they're real. Like I don't care. It is real. Like it's like the male mindset, and it's not just the male mindset. Women allow themselves to think that it can only ever be a friendship, and that they're so naive to think, in my opinion, that it's only ever a friendship in both parties' mind. But I just think the men always have ulterior motives as to think that they will someday be able to get their leg up, or they'll get their way around the situation, or they'll be even just a shoulder to lean on. And then once they're that much, they'll have another step in further and further and further.
See, I think that like women and men can be friends, and you can be attracted to other people's energy. So like, say you like that energy in a person, you'll go and you want to be friends with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, I don't think it's attraction there. Like I have friends that are purely platonic, and I'd like just friends, and you were just attracted to their energy, and you just have the same like interests and hypes and stuff like that.
And where would your friendships have stemmed from?
Just like say at a house party, or you know, like through friends, and like, you know, like.
And have you ever had to like lay boundaries with your friends, or has it been okay?
No, it's been okay. Like we're just purely friends, and we can just have the crack together and do fun things, like no drinks involved, and like, let's go for lunch. It's a really pleasant place to be in a friendship. It's a really pleasant place to be in a friendship. Do you think that that's the ultimate goal of all men and women when they entertain a friendship with the opposite sex, or do you think that you caught one lucky? No, because I have a few of them. Like I have a few lad friends, and it's great. Like lad friends are brilliant because they can always tell you a man's perspective. So say like you want to go dating, like they can give you dating advice, and they can be like there for you 100%. Like, say they want to help a girl, you can do the same and reciprocate for them. Or like, let's go hang bowling, or like you try to introduce them to one of your friends and stuff, being like, well, you should get on or whatever. Yeah. Like I just like there's nothing there that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I definitely do think that men and women can do things together platonically. They can have encounters platonically, and they can engage with one another in a particular situation platonically. But overall, the situation as it arises and where it's like coming to, I think it's always with either one or the other having ulterior motives. And not that it's a negative, like it's not a bad thing to have ulterior motives. Your attraction is your attraction. But I just think that there is somebody that's always going to think that there's going to be something more, because for women to even, let alone acknowledge a man's existence, they have to have some kind of form of attraction to them. And for men to be nice to women, they have to be attracted to them statistically. So like, I don't know, I just can't find that in most situations, men and women will be able to remain as platonic friends long term, just that solely outside of a relationship, or even one party's in a relationship, the other one's single. Any kind of dynamic like that, I just think that it wouldn't remain as just that. It would always have some kind of attraction, or even so much as seeing a friend walk I'm talking so like monotone. Even so much as seeing a friend like walk into a room really nice and dolled up, and she's like, she looks the shit today, but she doesn't really look like that. You're turning heads, and those men are thinking things they might have never thought before, or they might have thought the very first time they saw that woman. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole dynamic changes. Then they sexualize, they objectify, and all those different things. So I don't know. I just find it very difficult to reverse my opinion, or like to understand that it could just only be platonic.
But you never see them as just looking at you and be like, wow, my friend looks well. She's looked after herself. Do you ever think that that's what they think? Like, oh, my friend looks fantastic. Like she's been working out in the gym. I'm proud of her.
It depends on what kinds of friends you have as well. Like, it's like, it just depends on the guy, like on the guys themselves that you're around. Obviously, there are guys that you're like, yeah, I only see him as a friend. But obviously, you know that they see you as differently. And it's up to you to set those boundaries. But they'll still be looking at you like you're a piece of meat if you look good. Like, what's it called? Like they would literally to you, it's like, oh yeah, he thinks I look really pretty, and then like you turn around and leave the room, and they'll be talking about the boys about like to the boys about a completely different thing. Like, oh, do you see how she looked? Oh, do you see this? Do you see that? Just like not even just in an appreciative way, but more of a like sexual way. Like if you get what I mean.
I think
so it just depends on them.
Depends on the type of lad, as you said.
Yeah, it does.
Like if the fella's a lad's lad and doesn't really have many friends that are girls and never grew up around women.
Proper Jack the lad.
They probably would see it that way. But I've never felt that way around my friends. Like I just felt like a couple of bros just you know
that like, you're definitely that girl that's there with them on the fucking live stream, and you're all on fucking what's that called again, Fortnite or some shit together.
Oh yeah, we play Warzone and everything.
You're definitely that girl. See, the thing is like all friends groups with guys always have that one girl. They always have the girl that's one of the lads. And I think with some friends groups like that, it's either that girl that's the lad, like one of the lads, and she purely just is like, that's her personality through and through. She either has brothers or she has like something, she's been close with her dad, or some kind of dynamic that has put her mindset in the understanding of men, and like, you know, a laugh's a laugh and all the jokes and the things that some women, their femininity wouldn't allow. They wouldn't like, sorry, I'm sick. So my voice is going funny.
It's like Phoebe from Friends, I heard.
Yeah.
your sexy voice.
Phoebe's great. That's the best compliment I got all day.
You're like, wow.
She's an icon.
I just think that like there's always those girls that are like one of the lads, but then there's those girls that are one of the lads, but they're not really, you know, as well.
It's like the lads will see her as like, that's a friend, but she's not one of the boys. Like, we know her, we chill with her, she's cool, but nah, she's not one of the boys.
Yeah,
still.
like you can come over and you can chill five times a week and hang out with all the boys in the same room and have the banter and have the laughs, but you know at least one of the 7 are hitting you up at past 11 and saying, you want to chill, you want to do this, do you want to do that? Like, and you're just, you know, it's also kind of like sometimes as a woman, like you give in because, you know, they're your comfortable place and you don't mind. It's kind of, it's mutual, but other times you're like, nah, we're just friends.
Yeah.
And
then you take it the wrong way. It's like, I'm not, like when I'm rejecting you, it's like not rejecting your friendship. I'm rejecting your advancements towards me in that way. But they take it to heart. And then like next thing you know, they barely talk to you anymore. They barely text to check up on you. And it's just like...
But they're not really
like,
a friend then.
Yeah, and it's like, damn, I really thought you were my friend, but it looks like you were only after something else. And it's just like, it messes up the way you start thinking about going into like new friendships with other men, because then you're like, oh, like, are you going to view me like that as well? Like, are you going to sexualize me? Are you going to just not see me as solely as a person that you can be friends with? It's just like, it's like, it gets tiring.
It begs the question to me as well, like if you do entertain them that one time and you have the sex with them that one time, or you not even sex, even just a kiss, you know, like an innocent, just low vibrational moment where two people come together and they're like a shoulder to lean on or whatnot.
Yeah.
Like whatnot. Oh, chokehold, that word has me in. That you can have that innocent kiss, and can you go back to complete normal afterwards? Like, can you just remain in the friendship then? You know what I mean? Like, can it be that you always were just friends? It happened, and neither one of them are going to have some kind of predisposition or expectation of the situation, or some questions raised, like, or even to be able to come together and say, that was just a kiss, and neither of you feel any
awkward
certain type of way. Exactly, like that's the situation.
I think you'd be able to go back to friends if you didn't feel that way about each other.
Yeah, like after the situation happened, you come to terms that you know what, we're just better off as friends. Yeah, like
to know, like, we're friends and
is that always both parties that do that though?
I feel like one is probably always compromising, because one, like, it could be the case where, like, let's say, I didn't really like that, or I wasn't comfortable with that, we should not do that again. I feel like the other person would be like, yeah, but they're just agreeing with you, and maybe that's not what they want, but because they're also view you as a friend, in that case, they would be like, you know what, let me just stick it out for the friendship and let's not continue and move forward with this. Yeah. Which just gets things complicated, because then you can still feel that other person, like the way they feel about you has changed, or they'll talk to you less, or it's just something will change. A little dynamic will just change in that friendship. And it's like, sometimes it's like, can we even go back to how it was before this happened? And it kind of nearly makes you regret the situation.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. What do you think?
I don't know. I just don't really.
Slick. I also think, sorry, you go.
It's just like, it just depends on like how you meet, what's your friendship dynamic, like that kind of way. Like
setting boundaries. Do you set boundaries with your friends?
No, I don't need. I've never felt like I've needed to. Like I'm not a very touchy-feely person. Like I give a hug and that's about it. Okay. So I think that's
whereas like I'm such a touchy-feely person.
That's my personal boundary.
I would absolutely love, like, see, and I can do it with some friends, and some friends I just couldn't do it with because it's just such a strong connection, like sexual attraction too. But like, I'd love to just be able to sit on the couch with one of my male friends and feel safe and secure in that dynamic. You know, sometimes what I feel like, not all women, but like from my where I stand, they'd love to be able to fulfill some of those needs or those like wants that you'd get in a relationship without having to have the relationship or anything like that, or any of the sexual attachments to it. Just, you know, the comfort and the being able to speak and be heard and all those things, and to be acknowledged and to be set straight, but not in a mean way. Like you'd like that from a male friendship, but it's just not obtainable or realistic all times.
See, I find like, why would you turn to your friend to cuddle? That's my mentality.
I wouldn't do that.
Because I wouldn't, personally, I just would never, like I find cuddling intimate, so I wouldn't do it with a friend.
Yeah, I cuddle with my friends.
If it's like with you, I cuddle, no problem. But with a guy, it just changes everything completely.
Which is what I'm saying about the dynamic of relationship, sexualization, opposite genders, friendship. I would do it with all my female friends, so why now can't I do it with my male friends?
See, I wouldn't do it with my female friend.
Okay.
So I wouldn't do it, period.
I just wouldn't. Like, I'd have my friend, like, say we're watching a movie, two of us would just be in the bed chilling. Like, but I wouldn't cuddle. Like, it's just, I feel cuddling is just very intimate. So I wouldn't do it with my friends, and that's how boundaries get crossed. That's how I feel.
Yeah, okay.
So that's my personal boundary. It's not as if I've set that in place.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm not comfortable cuddling with someone I don't feel that way about.
I walked into Emily's room the other day and she had her, like, she was just lying there and she was with her iPad and she just threw her iPad to the side and she's like, come here, bestie. And like, we cuddled for ages and watched a movie. But that's what I want from a friendship. And if I can't fulfill that with men, which I know I never will because I don't believe it can be platonic without one of them getting the wrong idea, I can't fulfill that friendship. So the whole debate of whether it can be actually platonic, like all the things that I want from a friendship, from me and my love languages, whether they reside in relationships romantically or relationships platonically, whether they can't be fulfilled across the board, genderless, and without any kind of means or anything, then I just don't think it can exist. You know, I think that definitely we can get along as friends, we can be friendly, but just the whole friendship being completely platonic is just such a debate in my head. I just don't think it could be, you know? Because I have to have that same thing. It has to be consistent throughout your whole
friendships. Yeah.
See, I just treat my friends all the same. Like to me, they're not my male friends and my female friends. They're just my friends. So I have that set standard for all of them.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's what I think that's what Circa's trying to say. Like that, the way you see your friends are just friends, whether they're male or female, and it's the same thing with her. Like, what are you trying? I'm like,
but does that beg the question as well? Like you said, like you're like with one of the lads and all those kind of things, and I wouldn't consider myself one of the lads. I would consider myself quite touchy-feely. Like
my face is gonna be covered. Let me sit up.
Touchy-feely, like, is it? I don't know if it's too much to say. Like, oh, like I am very, is it feminine? I don't know what the word is. Like girly. Like I'd be quite girly. And
are you more in your feminine energy than your masculine?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, see, I'm more in my masculine energy than my feminine.
So it begs the question of: is it the femininity that causes it to be misconstrued? Is it the fact that like the display of one side versus the other? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they can relate to masculinity because it's the primary for them, and they might have some femininity within them. Some of them might not be anyway in touch with it, so that's why they feel comfortable having and holding that friendship with you. But from my perspective, as somebody who is predominantly like a feminine character, and I show that and display it all the time. I can have days where I act like a boy, sit like a boy, talk like a boy, talk with the boys, but that's not my personality. It's not me to the core. I am girly, and I can't fulfill a friendship with a male if I'm always in my masculine, which isn't where I naturally reside.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I guess, I understand.
Yeah, like I just don't think it would make sense. Not that it wouldn't make sense, but I just don't think it happens. I just don't think it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about in, like, what you call that? In marriages, if like one is married and one isn't, or in relationships, like one of the people are in the relationship and the other person is in a relationship.
The big factor is your friends have to get on with your partner.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, it won't work otherwise.
Oh, no. And like, that's when your friends really need to learn boundaries. Like, what's okay, what's not okay. Like, don't be coming up and touching on my man like that. Like, I get you're his female friend, but why are you hugging him like that?
Mm.
You know? It's like, if you're his friend, you should also consider me as a friend, and you should feel like you should understand how I feel the way I feel in regards to being intimate or hugging or touching or kissing or whatever my partner, because I don't like that. And if you're my partner's friend, he should have already told you, yo, Luana doesn't like this. Don't come around here doing that.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. That, like, as my man, you should know what I like and what I don't like, and your friends need to accommodate that. I know it sounds very like pushy and very controlling, but I know me as a person, and I would never do those things to another man while I'm in a relationship. So why are your friends being so comfortable coming up to you as my man and doing those things, you know?
I do have a question though, okay? So when you're saying that, you're saying, oh, I wouldn't do that if I was with my man. Would you do that with your friends if you weren't with your man?
In what way? Like, do what? Like,
so,
hugs?
like, as you were saying, like kissing and cuddling and stuff like that. Would you do that with your male friends if you weren't?
No, I don't kiss. I don't kiss my male friends. I don't cuddle with my male friends. But like, you know that one arm, like that one-sided hug. That's literally as far as I go with my male friends. And that's
okay,
about
so
it.
that's
always the thing. And obviously, my partner, like, if like, I know what type of guy that person is, so like obviously he's very like huggy. So, like, obviously, he knows when it comes to girls, he's not going in full 2 arms.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, hey, how are you? You're like, it's just the usual. Because he'd also know that I wouldn't be comfortable with him doing that, you know? So, it's like, it's more about boundaries that we set early on in the relationship. So, like, it's things that are certain. Like, he knows what I like and what I don't like. Yeah. And he knows what pissed me off if he did. Like, if you get what I mean.
If I didn't know that guy that well, that was such a tough one, because I'm just thinking, like, there's certain friends that I have where I would give them the most, like, such a wholesome, fruitful hug, like a big, warm, jolly hug that are males that are in relationships, but it's never that. Like, it never would be. It's like a brotherly, like, that's my big brother right there. And then, like, the partner always knows that I either call them, like, it's either a dynamic where I say mom and dad as a joke kind of a thing, that's how close we are, or like we know where we stand. Yeah. But then there is friends where I wouldn't really know their partner that well. That's where I would step back and be like, I don't know your girlfriend. That's the one side they kind of hold.
I had to ask the questions because when you were saying about platonic friends, if you treat them differently when you're in a relationship and when you're single,
that's not really platonic.
That's not really platonic then, because there's something there.
Yeah.
That's why I asked the question, because I was like, if you can't treat them the same as when you're in a relationship
and when you're outside of a relationship,
the relationship's not platonic.
Then it's not platonic now.
Yeah. I just don't think, like, that's a very good one. And I feel like it just, I don't know. Like, I probably couldn't, I couldn't interact with men the same as I would if I was in a relationship.
Yeah.
I just don't think I could hold a platonic relationship with a man, period.
So then it's not
I think
platonic
it's as well because you're such a loving person. Yeah. So you want to show the people that show you love.
And people get misconstrued with that, and so
they confuse it so often to you wanting them in another way. But to you, it's like, no, you're just my friend. But to them, they're like, oh, she hugged me a little longer
But is it
today.
because that you're not getting that romantic side of love, that you seek that in your friends, and then when you get in a relationship, you pull away?
Say it again.
So, like, because when you're with a romantic partner, you say you wouldn't do half the stuff you would do with your male friends. I was like, well, is that you, because you're not getting that romantic love, seeking that romance?
Oh, yeah, it's a good question. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Just trying to fill the little void.
Fill the voids in wherever I can, or little situations. And I don't know if I've always done that or if that's just where I am right now. But, like, I just think, even as a person, like, I not that I seek external validation everywhere, but there is certain points where, like, especially, and this is what I'm saying, when you're low, I know how easily the cracks can be infiltrated. So I know when I'm low and I do then decide to spend downtime with somebody who is a tricky one, that one thing leads to another. And I don't like, not that I don't like saying that whole, no, this is like a friendship. It's just that I wish it wasn't that kind of I wish it wasn't that dynamic, but it is. And it's always going to be. And there's a recognition to say it's not a platonic friendship. It's not, for me, I don't say that I have platonic male friends besides one. He's been my best friend since like I was fucking 5, and I would never see him like that. But that's because
he's like a brother,
little brother, or big brother. There's like ones that have been in relationships, and I never, even if they got out of the relationship with their partner, never would look at them in that kind of a way. And I know that because that's like a family void, like trying to seek like big brotherly kind of
so external factors are what stops you from like that are actually what helps you have a platonic relationship with a man then.
Yeah, probably. Internal factors?
Internal factors. Sorry.
Yeah,
my head's
yeah, there has to be some kind of resonance to a position in my life where I seek fulfillment, and more time it's a family kind of a dynamic then. And then I will take them on as a family, like I view them as family. But friendship wise, I could have 1,001 girlfriends and never look at them like that at all. And I'm somebody who is very, spicy, and I love my women so much. Like, I mean, I love women more than I love men. Yeah. It's like I'm more attracted to them, but I'm not going to go and like, unless we both know what's going on there as well. But I just don't think I can hold the same platonic friendships with men as I can with women. Yeah. At all. And I don't think a lot of women and men can. And that's like just evident in society, in the way that people interact with each other, and the way that at the end of a relationship, look at the way like a girl will break up with a guy, that girl's DMs are going to be flooded.
Even with the guys that were that were calling themselves your friends while you were in the relationship with that person. Why are you not asking me, are you single though? Like, are you single? I'm like, I already told you I was like yesterday.
The answer is yes.
It's not going to change whether you ask me now or tomorrow or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, why are you so interested now that I'm single? But yesterday I was bro.
See, I have platonic friends that if I was it wouldn't matter if I was single or in a relationship. They're my friends.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I love your
just
friends.
my friends. Like, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. They're just my friends.
And it's not to say I haven't picked up friends like that along the way as well. Like, there was somebody that I worked with in Centre Park for a long time, and I would have gotten along great with him platonically, and there wouldn't have ever really been like romantic feelings involved. But then there's also that thing of like, we had like that work banter of like flirting and making jokes and sitting on each other's lap. That's not platonic.
But I wouldn't sit in my friend's lap.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't
like,
do that either. That's a stretch.
I just don't think that I don't know, like, but, for me, it's so obscure. It's not even within my level of understanding.
See, that's where mixed signals then come in.
That's where you are as a person as well, though. Because you'd literally sit on my lap if you could. If Esme's not on my lap, you'd be like, Luena. Literally, you'd be like, Mom, can I have a hug? So it's like the same way that you be with me, it's the same way you'd also be with your male friends.
Yeah, I'd like to be anyway.
That you'd like to be, yeah,
100%. Mixed signals,
but the mixed
signals, yeah.
They'd be so confused if you just walked in and be like, can I sit on your lap, please? They'd be like...
Like, I know, like, it's so hard when you're such like a loving person, but
I'm so tactile.
Yeah,
as a human, I will sit on a couch, and if somebody's sitting on the couch next to me, like even if Jack's sitting on the couch next to me and Jack aren't the most tactile at all, but like he's another male friend who like I'm friends with, but just friends with. But like I would like sometimes I'd like to put my leg out and just have them like just have me there touching, just something.
You just love human touch.
Like, grab my ankle.
Yeah. I know it sounds so weird, but that is it. Like I loved even just like have my hand out and somebody just having their hand there or their finger doing this to me. It's a big thing for me. For that to run full like across full way across the board.
Mm-hmm. But didn't they say that like you need at least 12 hugs a day to get by?
Yeah.
To live a happy life. See, like I don't mind hugs like a million and stuff, but like I wouldn't go and sit in one of the lads' laps. It's just not me. Like, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not really, like, I go and give people hugs and stuff, and long or short hugs, love that, but I'd never be
that
cuddling and sitting on their lap, and no, I just couldn't.
And I know how weird it sounds when you say it out loud, but in the actual act of the moment, it's not anything that's, like, brought attention to sexually or anyone, you know what I mean? It's just an innocent moment, but, like, when you boil it down to the point of, is there an attraction? What's going on inside that person's head? There probably is some kind of ulterior that you experience and their experience are completely different. That's the unfortunate side of it to me. Maybe that's just because of the friendships that I hold or the way that I place myself in a friendship. But like, so long as it's going to be like that and that way, and I know a lot of people experience life that way, that is going to be the brutal reality of it. And men just, I think, like for me anyways, like I just think that they do see women naturally in a sexual manner, otherwise they're not that polite to them. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I
like, have you ever noticed how a man would treat a girl he's not attracted to in any way, physical, like in any physical way at all? It's like he can either choose to be really nice or he can choose to be really mean.
I think that's no in between. Strangers, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but even then, that stranger, it subconsciously filters its way into how you interact with people on a daily basis, regardless of your emotional relationship with them. You know, I think subconsciously, I think that stands for more how somebody treats somebody that they don't know, rather than the people that they do know. Like, it's your social interaction. Like, it stands for what people see on a day-to-day basis, you know, like the people who clean up their trays at the end of the day at the table when they're eating lunch and stuff. Those little things matter. How you speak to a woman, regardless of whether you know them or you're attracted to them,
100%.
matters. So I don't know. It's tough.
I just feel like we've come a long way since back in the day. Like, it wasn't really heard of like male and female having friends, but it's more nowadays that
it was like it was very improper, but back then for male and females to be friends, unless that was like your husband's friends. But even then, you couldn't call them your friends. That's my husband's friends. Like he has his friends, I have my female friends, and that was that.
See, I think that's why we've come such a long way.
I never thought of it in that perspective.
Yeah,
never.
I guess
so.
Men
There
are still
is
learning.
that still, like, it's in their head because that's the way they were raised. Like, women and men can't be friends back in the day. But I think everyone's getting better at it. Like. And like me, like I have platonic friends, so I think it's possible.
That's also with like schools as well. I think schools have have played a really big part, especially schools with like mixed schools, not just schools for girls and boys, but like it's just all together. When you're mixed in together, like it's easier for you to interact with them. Because if you notice the way girls interact, like did you go to an all girls school?
Yeah,
and you were shy to approach a guy, were you, when going into like? No, never.
No,
because like, what's it called? I had a few girlfriends who went to an all-girls school, and when it came to guys, they'd be like, "How can you just sit and chat with them like that? Like, do you not feel weird?" And I'm like, "No, like this is my usual. Like I see them every day, so it's nothing special." To me, I'd be so calm about being friends with boys because they were always around. They were always in school. It was just like me and like a group of like 6 guys, and we were just all friends. But like to other girls, it'd be like, especially girls in in all girls schools, they'd be like, "Oh my God, look at her. Like, who does she think she is walking around with a bunch of boys? Like, does she not have any girlfriends?" And I'm like, I'm friends with who I'm friends with. If girls want to approach me, they can approach me and be friends. You know, it's not like anything. Like,
I think it's people's perspective as well. Because like in school, like you'd be seeking a boyfriend and you'd be seeking those sort of things, like having a crush and stuff like that. Whereas when I grew up, I didn't really look for it, if you get me. Like I just kind of to be honest, I just went along with the way. Like just trying to get through school and get over and done with. So like I didn't really have that mentality of who do I fancy or looking around, or like, you know, those girls that would go down the town and would like have like look up all the lads and see who's hot and stuff. I never really had that mentality. So like I'd be more like
such yin and yang right now. I feel like I'm just so other side of the spectrum on that one. Like I would have been one of those girls that were like, "Oh, let's go to the bathrooms before we go to school lunch," and like, let's go see like, I like. But then I'm like
nowhere.
I would have been up there with the boys then. We all would have been together. But like, there was still the ulterior motives of looking nice and the boys looking at you. Like, you know, there's so much to it.
I look like a crackhead half the time in school, to be fair.
To be honest.
I wasn't one of those girls. Like, my younger sisters, London Stats, don't know how the hell they do it. They wake up at 6 a.m. every single day and do a full... God. You see the way you see my face now? This is how they go to school. I do this once a month.
Do you know what? I admire that. Like, fair play.
I'm like, yeah.
My sister used to go and do 100 squats before bed and 100 squats when she'd wake up. And now I'm saying that this girl had a bunda, like huge, and she was like so slim with just a big ass that came out of nowhere, and she was like bleach blonde, did her makeup every single day, and like she just cared so much about it. Not that she cared so much about how people saw her, but like, yeah, she put a lot of work into her, like effort into her looks when she was going to school. Whereas I didn't actually look that good going to school and never put those kind of extreme efforts in.
See, I didn't wear makeup until I was nearly 16.
Wow. I started wearing makeup younger.
I started wearing makeup when I was around that time. But before that, I just wear, black eyeliner and red lip gloss, red lipstick. That's literally all I wore.
I wasn't allowed to wear anything. So,
we weren't allowed.
No, I wasn't allowed.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm getting like MAC for Christmas.
I think it was 15 and a
I
half.
like that.
Was it?
I'm like, well, look at you. Little Miss Money.
I don't mean like that. The fucking
Speak.
no, that came out so like, oh my God, we're such a rich little family. No, fuck no. They all hate each other, probably only spoke to each other at Christmas, but like, oh my God, that came out so wrong.
Me wearing Penny's lip gloss.
I swear.
I was literally like 15, 16 wearing makeup. And it was like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
It was no MAC now. It was Penny's finest, but like, honest to God.
My mom liked her luxuries. Like if we were going to do something, like, and she was going to allow us to do something, that was like the only little places where we would, you know what I mean? Like makeup was like, or skincare. Skincare was a big thing for like, that's where I learned how to start doing my skin and stuff. And that's where my passion to become a beauty therapist came from, because mom had noticed acknowledged my liking to it. So I suppose she put efforts into it. But yeah, that is so bad. I can't get my head off of that.
Have you ever dealt with like, oh, this is when I say male friends, I love them. The ones that I have, I love them. But like, oh, have you ever noticed when they're like, oh, so what? I can't get a kiss because I'm not good looking enough for you.
Oh my God, like the gaslighting. Do you ever get that?
None of my friends have ever said that to me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No, but for real though, like
I've had grown-ass men say that to me. Grown-ass men.
But like, were they your friends? Like,
they were my man's friends, which makes it even worse.
And just friends for me, like just friends. And I mean, that was a thing that would have been said so much. And actually, do you know what it is the funniest thing? As much as I'm saying now that I would like to sit on friends' laps and like cuddle with them and chill with them, watch a movie. These are friends that I made extra efforts not to do those things, that things wouldn't get caught up in the like in the mix. Like there would be nothing misconstrued. Like I would make extra efforts, and then it would always be like, you never text me back, and you don't want to go on a date with me. I'm not good looking enough for you, is it? That sentence.
Why are you sitting all the way over there?
Are they really your friends if they have ulterior motives?
I know, exactly.
That's the thing though, like that's why, I guess that's why she's saying that. Like even if she views them as a friend, they'll never view her as only just a friend. Yeah. If it makes sense. Even when there's no mixed signals, no nothing. You're just there because you like being in the presence of that person. You're actually value them as a friend, but they'll still see other things. There'll still be an ulterior motive.
To see you as a sexual being, as an object.
Like, maybe we just need better friends, Circa.
Then they aren't your friends, technically, then.
Exactly. Like,
it's like they're just there because they want something from you or something. That's literally...
But it's
when you
so
view it
many
that
friendships that you come into contact with men, like that's a lot of the time either where it boils down to, and it could be years that it boils down to that point where it's like, oh, I've been here for years. I've always told you how beautiful you look, and you always let these men say this, that, and the other to you. And like, you've never noticed me. Stuff like that. And it sounds so innocent in the moment. It sounds so, look, this man pouring his heart out to her. But what about the fucking 2 years that were spent saying, I just see his best friend, be nice to him, he's a good guy. Stuff like that you should have to say. I know you're saying that's not your friend, but that's my whole point, is how could, like, to try have those friends most of the time, it just doesn't even end up working out. It doesn't even end up working out, because no matter how much time and effort you put spending into them, that even towards the end, you're just like, shit, this whole time, that's all they've ever heard. Then you psychoanalyze the whole interactions that could have caused them to think that way, what your placement in it. There's just too much.
Way too much.
Between men and women. Yeah. I don't know.
You got good friends.
Yeah, you do.
You got really good friends.
Yeah. I don't know how, like, and they come by, like, my best friend since I was young, like, he is exactly what you're saying, like somebody that I could spend hours just gaming with, and we could like hate each other, and that's where my true masculinity comes out. He doesn't see me as any object.
But see, that is a platonic friendship that you have then.
Yeah. She has like one platonic friendship with a male out of like the million male friendships.
No, she said she has a few.
Yeah. I've come across them, but like, I just don't.
They're rare. Is that what you're saying?
It is very rare.
So it can happen, but it's rare.
What's going on inside their head as well, you know?
I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to be your friend. Like, there's nothing more to it. Why can't we just do this one thing? I was like, I'm not asking you for anything other than your friendship. Yeah. So why is it so hard for some men to just give their friendship? Why must there be other things added on top of that? I just want you to be my friend.
It's hard to think.
It is hard.
I find that like the older we get, it's harder to make friends in general, let alone platonic male friendships.
Oh yeah. Like if you don't work with them or like go to the gym with them or something, like it's just very hard to come across male friends unless like you get introduced to them by like other people. Then yeah, you can become friends with someone. But like you wouldn't just be randomly walking outside in the road and some guy would come up to me, hey, I want to be your friend. But like when you were younger, like as a child, you'd be out playing in the park. And then there's just one random kid there and then you're like friends. It doesn't happen like that anymore. It's just, oh my God, life's so difficult.
We need an adult playground.
Yes.
I think we have enough of those. I think there's enough around the world of adult playgrounds. Sorry.
I got no anxiety.
I think the conclusion of this conversation is that I'm joking.
You're like, I have no friends.
I have lots of friends from many different genders. It's just that the prospects of them constantly, continuously staying as platonic and remaining in that state, or both of us sharing the same mindset of the situation, is whether that's the likelihood. And can men and women have platonic friendships? The answer overall is yes.
Like, I think it just depends on the people within the friendship.
But yes, the problem with the yes is it's a minority. It's not a majority. It is a minority.
And do you know how tough it is from a woman's point of view to actually just want to be friends with somebody and they just keep pushing it into a different direction? Mm-hmm. And it's like, all I want. And then you're like, oh, why are you friend zoning me? I thought we were more than this. It's like, no, I just want to be your friend.
But
like,
why did they think it was more than this? This is where I get into the male perspective. It's like, why did they think it's like more than a friendship? Like, where's the line crossed? Like, where's the mixed signals stuff? They get that in their head.
See, if you're too nice to them, they'll start thinking of it in a weird way. That's what I feel like. Because when I'm a dickhead, men will be like, I know where I stand in her life. But when I'm genuinely trying to be myself and trying to be nice and, be there for you when you're listening to your problems, why must you then feel like there's something going on when there really isn't?
But does that mean that like people aren't nice enough in general to lads that they think that
when a girl is nice to you, that she likes you? Literally.
That's quite sad.
It is though, but that's the sad thing. Like you showed a little vulnerability to a man and he'd be like, oh, maybe she does like me. It's like, no. I thought this was just the friendship that we were creating, you know?
I think also, sugar, my thought was stewing there for ages, and then as soon as I went to speak, no, because your point was just as good. It was about, like you said, about the male perspective. I think, like, but also the whole point of platonic is that there's no sexual attraction. Men and women view sex very, very differently. Men, and this is where the women at fault point comes into play. Men view sex objectively, like they see it as an act and they see it as something to do, and they relieve themselves of all frustrations that are tied sexually and whatnot. But women do see it as an emotional act. Like they take their clothes off, they shed vulnerability. Now some men hold that vulnerability too, they do, but that's the femininity within the man. The masculinity says, ooh, this is a thing that we do society basis and whatnot. But like, I think because men don't see it as emotionally, they find it easier to engage with and then to go back to the same state. Whereas women, as soon as they shed that vulnerability and they do entertain the sex and have the sex with the man, for them, whether it can go back to the same state, the men probably could. Women more than likely would find it difficult. So
it depends on the woman as well.
Them holding off on the sex. Like a woman holding off on the sex could also be her way of saying, I know this is going to go left if I entertain this.
Because they already
have something there. Or like the men just get horny and they just like what they like, or they find it easy to have sex with that person. You said this earlier about being friends with the woman and stuff. Like they might feel comfortable to be able to go and have that sex with them. And that woman is already very nice to them and friendly and stuff.
They're comfortable.
Yeah, like I think there is an answer, there's responsibility in, acting a certain way around men and them picking it up and then them taking the idea and trying to go forward with it. And then the woman shutting it down and being like, where did you get that idea out of?
Yeah. But so like, that's coming through mixed signals.
Then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. So like there's definitely like validation in that. Okay, he didn't come to that conclusion on his own. 2 and 2 doesn't make 20. It makes fucking 4. And that's what he's trying to result in. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think that the fact that men can just do it so willy-nilly, same with cheating, same with all those different things, they can just do it as an act as opposed to something that's emotional, and they take themselves away from the primary subject for them being the friendship. and for like, you know, cheating being the relationship. They can still remain in the relationship, remain in the friendship, but sex is just an addition. Whereas women, that's a big part of the whole actual friendship or whole relationship.
Yeah.
Do you know? No. I don't know if I wrapped up my point well.
A big thing I think plays part in it as well is, I know this is going to sound very shallow and very, you know, a little stupid, but I think men tend to be nicer and feel more sexually attracted to like let's say you're going to be friends with a guy. If he already thinks you're like really pretty, there's more than likely going to be more chances of him viewing you as just an object and wanting to sexualize the friendship. Whereas if he just sees you as someone like he's not as attracted to, he could literally just be like, yeah, she's just broke.
I think that just backs the statistic though, that men are mean to women who aren't attractive to them.
But that's like a small minority of men.
Very small.
It's actually a really big study.
Oh,
yeah, it's a really big study of whether
we need to get percentages.
I have it. Wait, I actually had it on my phone there, but my screen's where is it?
Here. Oh, that's mine.
I want to know. I'm so curious.
Yeah.
See, I just find you can be attracted to people's energy. Yeah. So like as you say about energy and vibrations, like someone can sense like, oh, I like this person's aura, I'm going to be their friend. I don't think it's appearance based. Like,
it's not, sometimes it's not. I wouldn't say it's always appearance based, but like on the first meeting, I think it plays a big part. Because like, let's say you're out with your friends and they introduce you to this new guy. You've never seen him or heard of him before. How you look will base how he treats you. Like if he just sees you as, you know, yeah, that's one of my friends, I'm cool with her, we can be friends. But if he's like, oh shit, she's kind of really beautiful, like let me find out more about her, you know, and then he'll take more of an interest in you if he's more attracted to you.
Yeah, but that's him going in with intentions then. So that's
exactly what I mean. Yeah. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, so some people do go in with intention, you know, like appearance based.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like sometimes single guys and single girls, they see each other and he's like, oh, she's cool, she's hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then he might, a week or two later, be like, do you know what? She's actually a really cool friend. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
And that attraction can fizzle, because when you hang around with someone,
it can disappear after
it can just disappear. Because it could be just initial.
Yeah, it could just be in the case where like, oh yeah, this person's really pretty. Let me acknowledge that. But they're also a pretty cool person. So you know what? I think I'd rather keep the friendship than to ruin it with something more.
Yeah, exactly.
But then that takes a very big person to do that. Like, especially when it comes to, I'm not going to say all men, but for a man to like, how would I put it? To stop himself from actually interacting with her sexually, it takes a lot. Yeah. So I'm like, I think it takes a lot out of a man and a woman, because some women, they could genuinely just, you know, want a man for that exact reason, whether they're friends or not. Yeah. So it goes both ways. So you do have to set boundaries in place. Like, yeah, this is one person I really appreciate. Let me not go there. Let me also make that person aware that we are not doing this and we're just sticking to friends. Once that is laid, I think then there can be a platonic friendship.
Yeah, 100%. And like sometimes, like it might not just be an attract, it might be just a school crush. You know, like where you could have like a crush for a week and then you're like, why did I fancy them?
Literally.
But you're like, they're such a good friend. Like I love their energy. I love them as a person. And that just goes. So is that really attraction? Or is that like what is causing that little crush? Like, is that actual...
What's the little spark going on?
Yeah, because like attraction's such a big word. Like attraction's like, well, that's not going to go away. They're attracted to that person, you know? But like a little crush. Because they could go, they go on to be platonic.
The actual word of attraction has been like also something that's been like taken away from what it means. Like you're attracted to the actual person, and then what comes from that is just a result of the attraction initially. But like definitely being attractive to someone is the flair of what causes you to spark a friendship, but that's still that attraction. Okay. No, my brain was about to go off and try to take away from what you were saying, but actually,
or it could be like, oh, do you know, like if you're spiritual, their aura.
Yeah.
Do you know, like you can like, oh, they have a really nice warming aura, I want to be friends with them.
But do you ever hear the saying that you eat a pizza with your eyes before you actually eat with your mouth? So you eat, like you physically analyze and profile somebody before you actually get to hear any of the words that come out of their mouth. And that's just something that we do like completely subconsciously to us. We psychoanalyze somebody's appearance, and then whether it's something that will spark in us or something that we're unattractive to is what makes us take the next step. And then maybe we will hear their voice or hear how they act or something, and that will change our opinion initially, but the first thing that will like entice that person to us and let us give them the time of day is the initial attraction based off of pure looks.
But it's like, say it's a case where you met through friends. Mm-hmm. You're hearing off your friend how great of a friend this person is. Mm-hmm. So you're actually basing, like you're already going in with this notion that, oh, these are a lovely person. And then you spark a friendship because of that, because you've heard all those nice things.
Also with that, that's the person's, that's like how that person has experienced the relationship between those two and a very different personality to you. There's many times that Emily has told me, oh, you really like this person. And I turn around to her, I'm like, never bring that person around me again. There's times where I brought people around her and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, who are they? They are not your type of person at all. You turn into somebody else and you're around them. You know, that's all subjective to your experience of, like, you know, friends being brought around you from knowing through your male counterpart or whatever. But I think on a day to day,
like sometimes you'd be brought into that friendship because of, say, like I turn around and be like, Sorka, you need to meet Luena. Luena is amazing. You will get on great. And you go in and you hear all the great things Luena's doing, and then you're like, do you know what? I like this girl's energy. Mm-hmm. And then you spark up a friendship that way.
Yeah.
That's not based on attraction though. That's just based on energy and what you've heard of that person.
Yeah, but
then when you actually see them in person, it could be different.
There has to be the majority though too.
As well. It's like, yeah, you already told me she's a great person. Now let me go see her in person and see what she's actually like. And if this person like is physically attracted to you, you'd be like, oh damn. It'll catch you off guard for a while. But if you in your mind, you're like, you know what? She's actually Emily's friend. You know, let me not look into it too deep. Yes, she is a beautiful person, but you know, maybe we'll just keep it at that so it doesn't ruin the friendship dynamic.
If you go into that friendship and you have a partner, would you think the same thing?
I haven't had a partner in a very long time, so like those questions all confuse me so much. Again?
So if you had a partner, would you go in being like caught off guard, being like, damn, they're beautiful, I'm going to become a friend with them based on attraction?
Oh no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't become friends with a person based on attraction anyways, because I don't do them things. But I just don't think, how would I put this? Okay.
So like you'd be, if you were with a partner, you would go out and you'd seek a platonic friendship.
Yeah, but that's how I am with friendships in general. I seek platonic friendships because there's nothing, I'm not going to say there's nothing that a person out there can give me when I already have a person and myself that's giving me whatever I need. So in that sense, I'm like, I wouldn't go out. Like just, a person could catch me off guard with how good looking they are. I'd be like, damn, that person's fine. I'm like, babe, you see that? I'm like, look at them. You know, but I wouldn't become friends with someone just because I'm attracted to them or just because how they look.
So it's not appearance based.
No, not for me.
But it does have a play. It does have a role. It has a huge role.
Not really, because but then again, you guys know me. Like the people I go for, I'm not actually attracted to them as like.
If we're talking about from the male perspective, it's not just us that matter and our mindset that has to be taken into consideration and how we feel about those males. Whether we're looking at them like that, we know the way women think. Women don't look at men and think, "Oh, he's really attractive." To be quite honest, women don't really look at the men that aren't attractive anyways. Not in a mean way. Not even as if we're looking at them and they're like, ew, look at that nasty man. We don't even acknowledge that they exist most of the time.
That's true.
Not in a mean way. It's just that we just like our eyes are drawn to what we personally see as attractive.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
It's like women are attracted to beauty. Like if you see like what's beautiful to you may not be beautiful to somebody else. But if someone catches your eye, you're like, oh damn, that person's kind of, you know. Yeah. I fuck with their vibe. I fuck with their person. I fuck with their look. It's like it has to be something. It could be like even a smile, you know.
See, I've never really like looked at someone's appearance.
Less inclined to be nice. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. Like, take this in whatever way you will, but you're a very beautiful woman, okay, and you're friends with men.
Yeah.
And what my point is that if a woman isn't so attractive and she's friends with those men, I'm not saying that your friends want to sleep with you in any way means, and I don't believe that they do. From the sounds of the conversation that it is 100% platonic, but in most times, so completely what runs on in the background of the brain and what's happening unbeknownst to ourselves is that there is some kind of insight that the attraction is allowing us to engage more in that person and the conversation and pull more from it. If they don't see that attraction, it's not to say that they're profiling somebody based off of completely their looks. All of it is taken into consideration, but how much they're willing to give and take sometimes is based off of whether they find that person appeasing, like appealing appealing to the eye, and whether it is something that they continue to have that conversation. If somebody thinks that somebody is unattractive, completely unattractive, they're not going to want to, sounds awful, and I'm being so rude, they're not going to want to look at them. I don't like, and that's just, men are like that. If they don't find a woman, if they think that there's somebody who's just not good looking, generically, like, you know, socially good looking, they don't even want to speak and talk and interact with them for a long time and entertain them on most occasions. And it's not like, I'm not saying neither nor are more valid than the other, but one is more prominent. And the prominent is the fact that they just don't like, I don't know. Yeah, every time I say something that's controversial, I'm like,
it could also be the case,
I don't know if I'm just being so close-minded, but I just think from all that I've viewed and experienced that's just how it's been.
See, like, I just chat to everyone regardless of what they look like, and if I can bounce off that person, I want to be their friend. And that's just the way I go in. And I know a lot of lads that are like that are the same. They'll just chat to anyone, and then if they bounce off it, they're like, oh,
right, I got a question for you.
Oh, wow.
Because your friends and your friendship group, they're all so platonic and so pure.
Yeah.
But what if you were to text someone or a certain person in that group? You may not even be attracted to them, and you may not know whether they're attracted to you or not. But I genuinely feel like you're sure to text them like, yo, let's meet up and do stuff or something, you know? I'm like, I'm sorry, but the man would more than likely say yes. If you were single.
My friends would tell me to fuck off.
She's constantly proving to us that she's like, has such a
she's like, I have elite friends.
They would like, fuck off. Like, literally just tell me to go away. Like,
oh, that is amazing. I'm like, I wish I could relate. Because I know if I were to pick up my phone right now and just be like,
yeah, like
100%.
I could probably, like, if I had my partner, so if I had Dan beside me, I could text any of the lads, be like, oh, me and Dan broke up, want to meet up, and he'd still tell me to fuck off. Like,
the single one.
What?
Do you have any single male friends?
Loads.
Even he would?
Even he'd say fuck off.
If he wasn't friends with Dan and he was your friend solely?
Well, if it was platonic friendship, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, he'd say
nice.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
What?
Do you not get it?
No?
He's saying do it.
Do it.
Text him.
I won't do that. No, Dan.
I know, exactly.
I couldn't do that because of Dan.
Like, he's not here. I can't do this while he's not here.
Yeah, like, if Dan turned around and told me to do it, I'd do it.
Yeah, fair.
You know?
Very fair. That's a good
solid
thing.
I don't do things sneaky.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, 9 out of 10 of the time, like, if I were to say that, 9 out of the 10 boys that I'm friends with would 100% say yes. Like, come through right now. Which is so heartbreaking because I'm like, I view you as simply as a friend, but they would literally jump to the opportunity if it arose. Which is so sad because I'm like, man, just a piece of meat.
And you do just want to be friends with guys. Like, you know,
it's like,
when you beg the question.
Like, I love being friends with males and females. Like, I love just being friendly. But like, I'm like, why is it that you can't view me in the same way? Why must there be something more to it?
Yeah.
Other than just friendship. It's so sad.
Like, lads make great friends.
They do.
Really do.
And they're so funny.
They're so funny. They give you a different perspective. Like, I love my female friends, I really do. And I love my male friends just as equally. And it's all platonic.
It's like male and female friends, so I love going to my female friends when it's emotional based. If I have an emotional crisis I'm going through, I'm going to go to my female friends. But if it's like something, if I want a logical answer, I would 100% go to my male friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so this is what's going on. I need your help. I need your opinion. And the man would sit me down and tell me the truth to my face. Whereas I feel like my female friends would be like, it's okay. Cry it out. It's okay. Get it all out.
I am that friend.
She is. I'd be like,
we're going to feel our emotions and then we're going to talk about it later.
And then you're like, so do you want like a logical answer or like,
yeah,
like,
I always have to do that because I am, as much as like I don't have many male friends, I do like to think that I do have the logical mindset. And sometimes I do try to make logic out of my emotions too much, so I try to let people feel them. Like, that's like the kind of girliness that I would do, the whole like, let's feel them now, then the logic comes in later. But
see, I'm a logical person, not an emotional person, so that would make me think differently as well.
You know, funny enough, I'm both.
You're both. That's
I'm
a perfect
both.
combination.
Because
I wish I was more emotional. I really do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not good.
No, it is, because you get everything out. Like, whereas everything
you do get everything out, but sometimes at times I'm so emotional that let's say if I'm angry about something, you will see and feel my anger.
Yeah.
But then I will take a step back, get a step out of my emotions, and then I just go straight into being cold and logical. So there's no in between. It's like I'm either going to be all lovey-dovey emotional or I'm going to be cold, which is like, it's a bad mix. Especially when it's like, when it comes to friendships. It's like, I could turn around and let's say if I'm in an argument with a friend, I could say something that would hurt them, but then I'd be like, oh shit, that was out of pocket. I apologize. Yeah. You know? But like,
I think it works both ways. To be honest, if you're able to check yourself, that's a big bonus too. Not many people can do that.
Yeah.
It took a while for me to get here. Down, I'm like, it took me like 4 years to get here.
I'm going to ask the question. I think we both know our answers, but it's Luena that I want to know what her answer. Can men and women have platonic friendships?
Yes, from me.
Yeah. No. I don't think they can.
No way.
No. Still don't.
Ooh, I'm like, I'm waiting for a man to prove me wrong. I'm genuinely going to wait for...
I love that was a little debate, you know. Sorry for coming across you. Sorry, speaking.
No, I can't even remember what I was saying.
Me, 24/7.
So you don't think they can?
I'm like, I will wait until the day a man comes into my life and shows me that we can be platonic friends. No, not even like flirt and banter, none of that. Because when someone jokingly flirts, I genuinely think there's intention behind that as well.
Oh, that's actually an interesting...
I'm like, I guess we'll talk about this on our next episode.
That's actually a good point.
That, I agree with that too.
Yeah. Or you can just not be a flirty person. Maybe that's my issue.
Yeah, you're like, don't flirt. Point blank, period.
It's like, shut down.
I would go on mute for the rest of my life.
I'm not speaking for the rest of my life.
I'm so flirtatious. I flirt with everyone. Fuck, I flirt with old people.
She flirts with Esme.
I flirt with Esme all the time. I flirt with everyone. But it's just...
you little cutie pie.
I'm so hot, mama, yeah. And then she's like, I love it.
I absolutely love it.
It's thriving. That's right. And it's just because, I don't know, that's just going to be me for the rest of my life. I'm always going to be this person. And I just think that every friendship I'm going to encounter, like you just said, maybe there'll be a day I'll encounter a friendship where they're going to change my mind on this. But
I hope so far, I really hope so.
It just seems to me that it's never going to be just platonically. Somebody's going to have something caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll beg to differ.
Beg to differ. You can keep begging, baby. I was going to say something. I was going to flirt with you. Keep begging me, baby.
See, I told you she can't contain herself.
I'm actually impressed. Maybe right.
It's like, it's not the blush, I swear. Oh, stop. That was funny, guys. It was great.
That's good. I love that we have contrasts and opinions because